Race 8 over 1,110 metres, and equal favourites at the moment. You can see there, number 5, Roman Law, and number 7, Radio Powell. Roman Law was a debut winner on a heavy track here and should be on the improve as well, 420 at the moment. Radio Powell has won first up before and is equal favourite at 420, opened at 450. Brave Star's just jumped up now to second favourite behind Radio Powell, also a last start winner here on a heavy track. So a fair bit of movement, really evenly held the top 3 ahead of race 8, the last. What are you really gambling with? For free and confidential support, call the number on your screen or visit the website.
This mounting yard is brought to you by Swettenham Studs Persons de Lune, the proven grade that will get you results on the big day.
Into the mounting yard for the final time today at Werribee. Our top weight is one of the key chances. Brave Star, Zach Spain, riding for Philip Stokes.
He relishes wet tracks and he really relished the heavy conditions first up at Werribee. It was his first start for the Stokes yard. He was able to sit off the back of the tempo. He looked gone on the corner, but he just kept chasing. Now he's second up. He's got to go up 2 kilos in the weights, but no reason to say he can't win again. He loves the wet.
A horse that definitely knows how to win is the 2 Kalashani Lad, the 12-year-old rising 13-year-old. So he's in the final 5 weeks of his career as a racehorse, with the rules meaning that he'll be forced into retirement at the end of this season. He's been a ripper for connections. Does he have another one in him?
In his last 9 runs, he's only been beaten more than 1.9 lengths twice. So as the saying goes, this guy retains his zest for racing, and he did exactly that last start. He was third behind Brave Star when he closed off strongly at Werribee on a heavy 9 track, and he actually gets 2 kilos off Brave Star from last start. He loves the wet. He tries his heart out.
By his standards, horse number 4, Nickajon, is a young whippersnapper, the 8-year-old, and you think he's a good chance today?
Yeah, I do. I love the fact he's been freshened up, because first up earlier in his preparation, he produced the fastest last 600 metres of the day in all 3 of those runs. So it's a horse that goes well early in preparations, and even last start, going back 5.5 weeks at Morphettville, he's in the wrong part of the track behind Jacks on Ice in a benchmark 64 there on a Saturday, and closed off well up in the inferior ground. That horse, Jacks on Ice, has won since, so he'll sit back off the tempo, saved up for one last run.
We don't have a ceiling yet on Roman Law. He's 1 from 1. Steps up in grade today for Danny O'Brien.
There was a big gap back to third last start, so that's always a good indicator that the strength of the race is there. We have seen the runner-up in the race go around earlier in the program and get every chance, face the jury, and she ran well without winning. The winner there was dominant in race number 2, so the form has stood up somewhat. It just needs to rise in grade. He got some tempo favours last start.
The equal favourite at this stage is the 7, Radio Powell. First up today for Michael Huglin.
First up, a couple of preparations ago, he's 1.6 lengths off Scissor Step at Caulfield, and then he was beaten 7 lengths by Star Patrol, but he crossed the line with Cardinal Gem, beat Cooled, beat All About Eve, Squid Game as well. So the best of his form says he's the best horse here at this stage of their career, at least. It's just he's rated down a bit since then, and he's got to handle the wet track, but he's jumped out really well, as he often does.
There's been some good each-way support around for the 10, Infinite Matrix.
Fastest last 200 metres of the race last start at Morphettville on the Parks track. That was on a soft 7, over 1,000 metres. He's a fella that gets better deeper into the preparation, and some of his better form prior to a lengthy layoff was over 1,400 metres. So the little rise in trip will suit. The last time he won was, in fact, over 1,100 metres.
Family affair with the 11, Richter, Talia Hope, riding for Lee and Shannon Hope.
Jumping out and trialling really well. He's a horse that went to the paddock in a good race behind Calico Jack. They ran really fast time. That was on a midweek Wednesday Metropolitan meet, and the winner was dominant. That's the right form for this. He's been able to get through heavy tracks in the past as well. Based off the jump outs, he should run well in an open affair.
What about the 15, Oakley, who goes around at an each-way price for Abesanko?
Dropping in distance will really suit this fella. He just got too keen over 1,400 metres last start in an even run race. His runs prior to that, at big prices, mind you, over 1,200 metres were good. Back to 1,100 metres, wants them to run along.
All right, 4 minutes out from the last at Werribee. You're hoping to send the punters home here with a nice winner at each-way odds.
I am. I like Nickajon. I like him freshened up. He's got a turn of foot. Billy Egan will ride for luck, and they're coming off the fence, so the luck will come. He's just got to be too good for them back towards the inside. Radio Powell got to handle the heavy conditions, jumping out well, form around him good. Infinite Matrix been met with some support. Closed off well last start. Roman Law just got to cope with the rising grade.
Flick over and have a look at Creditors' tips. He's got the top weight Brave Star on top. He's actually got the two favourites as his top two seeds. Radio Pal in there. 1, 7, 5 and 10. Sam, for the final time today, can Ladbroke steer us into a winner with the market guide?
Well, all day, the advice from the experts has been look at the heavy track record, and the market's also told us late. So if you're following those two things, Brave Star, so the good heavy track form, $5 now into $4.20 with the late money that's come to make him outright favourite at this stage, and Infinite Matrix, the other, $8.50 into $5.50. There's good heavy track form, and there's also late money there. And Nickajon from Salt's Push has gone from $7.50 after being at $8. So at the moment, $4.20, Brave Star, $1,000 bet just placed on Ladbrokes. What are you really gambling with? For free and confidential support, call the number on your screen or visit the website.
Time to head back out on track. Nickajon is the horse that Dave Strelaw has on top here. His best value of the day, trained by Mick Shepherdson, who's alongside Ben Spall.
Yeah, good to catch up with Mick, and we've got the entire clan here. Tell us who have we got, Mick?
Yeah, we've got Jimmy and Emily. Mum's at a life-saving carnival today, so kids are at the races.
Well, hopefully you can get a winner today to please all. And I know Salt's is keen on your horse's chances. How do you think the horse has been tracking this preparation?
Yeah, really well. I was only looking the other day. I think he's finished in the top 5 his last 10 or 11 runs, so he's very consistent. He always gives a good shout. We try and keep him on the fresh side. He seems to, as he's got a bit older, he races well that way, so a few scratchings today. Not sure what the pressure's like, but we'll just be where he's comfortable, I think.
He's been doing a bit of racing in Adelaide. Is it the horse or the trainer that likes getting back to SA?
Oh, we all like to get back there. Family's back there, so the races suit him there just with his rating. So 1,200 at Morpheville seems to like, so we'll get there again.
Billy Egan on today from a lower draw. What are your instructions there?
Just where he's comfortable, yeah, sort of. He raced probably a little bit closer than what he usually does at Morpheville last start, so just pretty much left it to Billy, just where he lands and get him in a nice rhythm and hopefully strong leg.
Heavy track out there obviously today. He was on a really heavy track at Warrnambool during the carnival 2 starts ago. He wasn't beaten far. Does that give you confidence that he'll handle today?
Yeah, I wouldn't say he loves it, but he gets through it. So that's a bit of a tick today because hopefully majority don't.
He's been a bit of an old beauty for you, isn't he? I think the backstory is you bred the horse and Quinny Scott was training him for a while when you were at the McAvoys and the like. He's racing 9, but he's still racing well.
Yeah, he was off for a couple of years, and I just think it suits him, just keeping him nice and fresh. And, with that sort of couple of years in the paddock, he's still got plenty more racing left in him. And, Quinny did a great job with him. And once we got our licence, Quinny suggested if we have a go with him, and we've really enjoyed him, and he's been great for our young stable.
You mentioned your young stable, and since you've got the licence, how's things going, mate? Obviously it's been good to see a couple of 2-year-olds starting to pop up in your name, and some of them running really well of late. How's the stable growing?
Yeah, really well. Got a couple of nice 2-year-old fillies. Vandermeer ran 4th, beating a length at Sandown a couple of weeks ago. She's in the paddock, and then Seiko in a Sioux Nation filly ran very well at Moe, so they're both in the paddock, have a month out, and hopefully we can bring her back to crack a maiden and aim up a bit from there, hopefully.
Well, good to catch up with you and the kids as well, and hopefully you can go home a winner here. Good luck.
I appreciate it. Thanks, Ben. Ta.
Yeah, he's one of the good guys of the game, Mick Shepherdson, so we wish him all the best here with Nickajon, particularly given that our man Dave Strelaw has tipped the punters into it as well. So, Salts, give it strength.
Give it strength indeed as well. And there has been some deductions, but he went up a big price. He's been met with a little bit of late support as well. It is an open race. It's been an open program today at Werribee. It's raced true to the heavy track conditions. They have got off the fence, but given the fact that we lost Casterton due to a heavy track today as well, and we've had some rain around Melbourne, I think the track's held up very nicely.
For the final time today, he's Adam Crittenden.
So 3 or 4 to move along. His Brave Star, who won well at his first run for the new stable. They took the blinkers off there. They remain off today as the starter heads around. Radio Pal is ready. Roman Law comes up. And Richter. And the line's just about complete here with the light turned on for the Werribee Functions and Events Centre Handicap. 1100 they gallop in the last. Gates back, they're underway. Oakley a little bit awkward out of the gates. Brave Star left okay with Radio Pal. Richter going through towards the front. Roman Law's not going to be far off them. Infinite Matrix now starting to nudge through off an inside gate. Still a tight-knit group, these 8 runners. Kalashani, Ladd and Oakley are amongst it. And Nickajon's about a length away last, but only 3 lengths off the lead as they head past the 700. So Infinite Matrix is a co-leader with Rideo Pell. Roman Law's within 3/4 of that pair. Brave Star off them. Nicker John's nearest the rail. Out wider are Kalashani Lad and also Oakley as they head up around the home turn, and Richter's in that line as well. So they swing 400 to go. Infinite Matrix with Rideo Pell and Roman Law. They led from Brave Star, who remains about 3 off the fence, but has got plenty of room to run on with Nicker John. And then out deeper, Kalashani Lad, 200 out. Infinite Matrix, Brave Star quickly on the improve. Roman Law still there. Kalashani Lad deeper. Brave Star ran to the lead. Kalashani Lad, the veteran, a chance. It's Brave Star from Kalashani Lad. Brave Star hanging on. Brave Star just lasted to beat Kalashani Lad, Infinite Matrix and Roman Law. Then came Nicker John and Rideo Pell. A gap back to Richter, and last in was Oakley. So Brave Star, a real professional on rain-affected going. He's been able to win in this sort of ground again. He came over from New Zealand with sound wet track credentials, and he's been able to deliver on this ground again at this track, and over pretty much the same trip as what he did a couple of weeks ago. Number 1, Brave Star, ridden by Zach Spay for Philip Stokes, defeats the 12-year-old Kalashani Lad. Number 2 in second. He's racing really well, obviously very close to that compulsory retirement now, but hopefully there's another run or two left in him. Infinite Matrix holds on for third, and Roman Law in fourth. 1, 2, 10 and 5 the result. 1, 2, 10 and 5. Brave Star, number 1, is a 5-year-old by the bold one. Makes it 2 wins from 2 starts since joining Philip Stokes' camp, and Zach Spain with the ride today. 2 Kalashani Lad by Bella Spree, Mark Stevenson and Reese McLeod. And 10 Infinite Matrix third is by Schwazier for Will Morrissey and John Allen. 4th in Roman Law, 5th in was Nicker John. The margins are a long neck and a length. The time for the race 19.25. It's the slowest by a fair way of the 3 1100 metre races that we've had so far today. That was purely tempo related. They just jogged for the first 600 of the race there. Brave Star was a $4.20 equal favourite on the VOP. $4.10 and $1.80 is the return on Super Tab. Let's hear from the winning connections. Michael Harrison is a foreman for Philip Stokes, and he is with Ben.
Thanks for that, Cretters, and for your contribution throughout the afternoon. And Michael, well, this horse, he's loving these wet tracks and loving Werribee.
Yeah, that's 2 in a row here, so we've managed to let him strike twice. The team's going great with him, so hopefully we can keep it going from here.
Did it pan out as you'd hoped?
I couldn't actually see from the stand, to be honest, but look, it panned out from probably the 400 to the line, I guess. No, it was a great win.
And, he's building an imposing heavy track record, this horse. He's had 6 starts now for 3 wins and 3 placings, so winter's certainly his time, and he's only second up from a break, so he's got plenty of racing left in him.
Definitely. It's a horse that holds his condition. There's not really much to him. He just battles along, but I'd like to see him to get out a little bit further. That's sort of what he's bred to do, and he did that over in New Zealand very well. So I'll see what Zach thinks, but the horse is definitely going in the right direction.
He's been able to carry the top weight as well and then hold off, an old seasoned horse. Season's probably selling him short in Kalashani Lad, so the win had plenty of merit.
Yeah, that's right. I think Kalashani Lad, he was coming at him last time as well, so... his day will come soon, but no, it was a great win by the horse, and he's always tough to the line, and look, it's great to see him return, from a little break in the order he has.
Good way to end the day, well done.
Thank you.
There we go, so the Philip Stokes stable are going home a winner. So too is Zach Spain, who is debriefing with connections, the Regal Bloodstock team colours we can see, the green and yellow silks, and Zach ended his day on the right note. Brave Star, 2 starts this preparation for as many wins here at Werribee. And Zach, good way to end the day, and this guy is relishing the wet tracks this prep.
Yeah, he is. He's in the right time of year. Credit to the team back home, because he's a very aggressive horse at home, and he can be a handful sometimes, so credit to them. And it was a really good effort. He had to carry top weight on a testing track, and he just loves the wet.
When were you confident you're on the winner?
Sort of, I come off the bridle a little bit on the corner, but you sort of expect that when these horses are carrying top weight, and I was just able to keep building on him, which I wanted to do. And when he hit the front, he felt like he was always going to hold. He's just a horse that keeps growing with confidence, and 2 on the trot now. It's a good effort.
Perfect way to end the day. Well done, mate.
Thank you.
Yeah, beautiful stuff from Zach Spain. We spoke about his form a little bit earlier. 94 winners across the season now nationally, so he's closing in on that ton.
Yeah, working very hard, and he might get there. He's got to have a little bit of time off, but he might get there by the end of the season. But if he doesn't this year, I think the ton is beckoning in years to come because he's riding in terrific form. And the ride aboard Brave Star was a beauty today. He's a horse that was able to resume with Phil Stokes, first up at Werribee, and win. They thought, well, he won there over 1,100 metres, so why not see if he runs out the 1,110? And he did exactly that today. It was a slow tempo. Creditors alluded to the fact that it was clearly the slowest of 3 1,110 metre races on the day. It was also the last program of the day, but we haven't had any mid-meeting rain. It was just due to the fact that there was no tempo. That meant that Infinite Matrix kicked up and held the fence. Radio Pal went up forward and settled outside the leader, and that horse, I think we can say that he doesn't handle the heavy ground. Radio Pal, he didn't look to be travelling in the going. They might try and save him for a synthetic track or a wet track. Infinite Matrix, relative to the tempo of the race, meant that that horse was able to hold on for third, but it came down to the fact that the form race coming into the race was the race that Kalashani Lad and Brave Star came through, and Brave Star won by a length on that day. He got 2 kilos off Kalashani Lad, got 2 kilos off Brave Star from their last start clash, and this was just a great example of physics because he won by a length last start, meaning in 2 kilos worse off than he did today, and he was able to eat into the margin with that weight differential, but just couldn't quite get there, the old boy.
I was cheering him a little bit. No knock to the connections of the winner, but would have been awesome to see the 12-year-old, one of his final starts. He's still got basically a month of racing to go, so connections can maybe plot hopefully a fairy tale win to end his career, but gee, it was a good run again from the old boy.
And people that might want to see that age pushed back a little bit as well would have been cheering him as well, because we know, look at him, he's absolutely loving his racing. He's thriving. He's beaten some horses. He's beaten the horse Roman Law, who was at start number 2. Yeah. So there's no reason to say that there's not more racing ahead of him, but unfortunately it'll come to an end shortly.
Yeah, well, the reality is that, you know, every horse is different, and some 12-year-olds like this horse are probably more sound and have more zest for racing than some 3 and 4-year-olds. Wasn't to beat today for Kalashani Lad, but it was still a great performance. Brave Star takes the last at Werribee. We've still got one more to go at Port Augusta. On the other side, though, for a quick break, we'll head back out and catch up with Ben Spall to wrap up things.